Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new day. It's 4th of July, so happy 4th of July to everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful day and spend it how you're gonna, how you want to spend it. So, uh, yeah, we're just at home and this is where we want to be. We've been outside since I got out here about 5:30 with Gypsy. We actually knew it was going to be hot today, so we said we would come out early so Gypsy can get her outside time in, and then when it gets hot, we'll probably just go in. So,
And it's hot.
and it's hot already, yeah. It's I don't know what time it is, but it was already getting hot by like 10:30. And yeah, it's a little close and sticky outside. But Gypsy's laying at my feet. I'm at the end of the garage here, looking out to the backyard, and Gypsy's at my feet, laying down, sleeping. So, usually we have her out there in the front by the cargo trailer, and she usually lays in the shade there. But we have to be that judgment for her when it's too hot for her to just be out there. So here at the end of the garage, which I'll just show you our view, which is our backyard. Many of you have seen it before, but again, there's always new viewers and subscribers. But like I said, we have to be that judgment for her when it's too hot out there in the sun, even in the shade under the trailer. She's trying to hide from the sun. She's trying to get out of the sun. So it's much cooler here. The floor in the garage, it's much cooler for her, and she's content sleeping here now. So yeah, Glenn's over there to my side. He's working on his RC. Yeah, he's a little frustrated working on his RC airplanes, and I'm just enjoying watching whatever birds are left flying around. So yeah, we got out here very early. Birds were very active this morning. I had my camera. Orioles were in and out all day or all morning. And then by 10 o'clock, they pretty much shut down. They went to go stay cool wherever. A few sparrows coming around, but for the most part, birding shuts down. Birding is kind of like fishing. You got to get out early to get that bite. And for birds, you got to get out early to get all the birds that are being active. And then by a certain time, they just shut down. So this is how we're spending our 4th. Just here at home. Later on, I'll be grilling some brats and Spencer steaks. And I'll be making a Jello poke cake. But yeah, other than that, we're just sitting here. Oh, Gypsy and I are sitting here at the back door. And Glenn's frustrated with his RC airplanes. We never went to the RC airfield the other day because it was going to just be too hot. We just can't stand being in the heat anymore. Yeah, so what we've been doing is we come outside. We're always watching the weather, what it's going to be, how hot it's going to be. And we come outside for a while. And then when it gets hot, we just go in. So we get our outside time in, and then we get our inside time in. Glenn, for the most part, ends up going in because not so much for the heat, because he could probably withstand some of the heat, but he can't stand sitting in his scooter or his wheelchair for that long of time anymore. It starts to hurt his rear end, but it goes up his spine. So, and he does have a cushion for his wheelchair, but none of it's comfortable for him anymore. So he just
a big butt with a lot of meat on it, but it still hurts.
I don't know if you heard him say that, but he said he's got a big butt with a lot of meat on it, but it still hurts. Yeah, so yeah, I'd say we're probably gonna eat, just go in a little while, and I'll come back out to grill out later. I don't know if Glenn will come back out, but so yeah. And when I say we'll go in, Glenn will go to the trailer, of course. I'll go in the house, but yeah, Glenn has air conditioning in the trailer as well, so he's nice and cool in there. Somebody had asked why I say Glenn goes in the trailer or he's in the trailer, and I'm guessing for the new viewers that don't know the what we do, we have a converted cargo trailer, and I have some videos on that if you want to watch those. But Glenn being disabled, and many of you have already heard this time and time again, but Glenn being disabled, he does not get out in the winter at all. So in the summer, it's too hard for him to go in and out of the house every single day. Yes, we have a ramp, but it's hard to maneuver. There's no way he could maneuver the scooter around the ramp because it's not just a straight shot. It curves into like a U shape, and the wheelchair would be just as hard. So it would be too hard for him to walk in and out of the house every single day. So he actually lives in the trailer all summer long, and that makes it easy for him to come outside every single day in the summertime. And then he goes back in the house probably early November, late October, depends how cold the fall is. And then he ends up going back in the house and stays in the house for the winter time. So
Because it's just not going in the house in the morning at night. If I have to go to the bathroom, say,
yeah,
3 times during the day.
yeah, and that's the other thing. Also, is it's not just him having to walk outside every day. If he has to go to the bathroom, how many times a day, that he'll have to do that every single time, and it's just not possible for him. He just can't walk that much of a distance. So for him to just stay in the trailer through the summer and be able to just get on his scooter and wheel out of the trailer every day, anytime he wants to come outside, it makes it easy for him. So yeah, it's non-conventional how to live, but that's how we live, and we're okay with it. So that's just, that's how we live. So yeah. Yeah, what else has been going on? Oh, I'll have some more wonderful friend mail to share with you today. And yeah, just grilling and making a poke cake, Jello poke cake. And what else? Oh, last night. So this is our very first 4th of July with Gypsy. So we got her last August. So last night, the fireworks started a little early. Usually you get folks around the neighborhood who like to shoot off fireworks and louder, big bombs and stuff. So yeah, Gypsy was very uncomfortable with it, and she got a little antsy, and she needed some comforting. Honestly, if there wasn't a TV table in front of me, she would have jumped in my lap. So tonight, when the fireworks are going off, I'm sorry the camera's shaking, I'm holding it, and my arm's getting stiff. So first what we tried to do, because the fireworks have been going off for the last couple days, so the first night we actually I actually just didn't react to it. And anytime she reacted, I just, I had something on the TV playing, and I just didn't react to it. I didn't pay her no attention when she reacted, and that she would calm down. So when she saw that I wasn't reacting, she stopped reacting. And that worked great the first night. But last night they got quite a bit louder, and the poor thing was just not comfortable with it and was very anxious. And finally, she laid down, and then about 11 o'clock, when all was supposed to be quiet, 2 more big bangs went through, and she was up just like that. So yeah, with fireworks going off tonight, I'm not sure how it's going to be for her. So yeah, she just like gets close to my leg, like hugs my leg, and wants me to just comfort her. So I did last night. Obviously, we don't want her to be uncomfortable, and we just want her to know she's safe and nothing's gonna happen. So yeah, she's sleeping very content on the floor here. The floor is nice and cool for her. So she just ate a Frosty Paw, and
If you know what those are.
yeah, I don't know if you know what Frosty Paws are, but they're an ice cream for dogs. You get them in the ice cream section at Walmart or in any store that sells them. But yeah, so yeah, just wanted to check in. Wish you a happy 4th of July. And yeah, I'll just pick up the video later when I'm doing something. But right now I'm just sitting here relaxing, looking out to the back door and trying to stay cool. So if it's hot where you're at, I hope you're staying cool. The only way to stay cool for us is be in the AC. Yeah, we just don't do well with the heat. And as you know, summer is not my season. So you can give me fall, I'll be happy. All right, so this right here is our back door of the garage that goes out to our backyard. For those of you that are new, have never seen it or whatever, but this is a one-car rolling door as our back door. So we can actually drive through the garage out to the backyard, which I have done before. So this is our nice, cool concrete. You can see it's shaded, but as the day goes on, that sun is going to climb its way up here and we're going to lose the shade. The only reason we're still sitting here is because we still have the shade, and you can see our gypsy just content and sleeping there. So yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's such a good girl. She's matured so much since we first got her. When we took her to the airfield, the RC airfield, that first time we went, I don't know, when was that we went, babe? Saturday was it? Yeah, Saturday. Saturday when we went to the airfield, she was so good. She, you know, she's getting so much better being around people, socializing. You know, she lets out her barks and little roofs. When she sees somebody coming, she lets us know somebody's coming, but that's what she's supposed to do. But then she stops and, you know, she was socializing with one of the men there, and went up to sniff them and didn't bark or anything. So she's being a good girl. She is a wonderful dog. She's such a blessing to our life. She brings us a lot of joy, makes us laugh, makes us smile. And when we know she's not feeling well, she makes us cry. So, but yeah, she's nothing's waking her up right now. So, but other than that, you can see this is the end of the garage going out to the backyard, and that's our backyard. Our backyard goes all the way back there. We have a half-acre lot. That's our fire pit. I stacked a bunch of stuff on there, cleaning the yard the other day. So sometime this week we'll have a fire. And the kitty garden, the kiddie pool gardens over there. I did see some little baby cucumbers starting to flower out, and some husky tomatoes. So yeah, and all my bird feeders over here. So that's what I sit back here looking at, just enjoying the view, enjoying nature. We call this our little piece of heaven. And sometimes we still can't believe that we have this compared to where we used to live. So we're very grateful to have this. We're more on the countryside of town. Where we live, it's like 50,000 population. We do have a downtown. It's more city-like in a lot of the areas of this city. But we're actually on the edge of the city where it's more country. So we're happy about that. But yeah, that's what I'm sitting doing, is just watching the backyard and enjoying nature at its best, I guess. And when it gets to be too hot, I'll go in and I'll probably make the cake for the Jello poke cake and just do something inside. So, all right, so stay tuned. I've talked enough. All right, everyone, so I am about to make the white cake for the Jello poke cake. So since when I made the brownies, I didn't actually show you the steps I went through. I explained them, which I think you can get it from that. But I'll just show you. I've showed it before, but I'll just go ahead and show it again. So again, I use a white cake mix for the Jello poke cake. I think most people do. But I just have a scale that was Glenn's way before I even got here. So this is the bag of cake mix. I just leave it closed in there, but I spread it out just so it's even when it goes on the scale. And this is the difference between Super Moist and Duncan Hines. Super Moist, the bag weighs 1 pound 3/4 ounces. Duncan Hines weighed 15 ounces, so a difference there. So 1 pound is 16 ounces, so I'm just going to split that in two, which would be 8 ounces. And my scale is usually a quarter off, so I'll call this 1.5 pounds. So I'll go 1/4 ounce. So I'm just going to round it up to 8 1/4 ounce for each serving. So I'm going to go ahead and get my bowl ready. Now let me go over the ingredients, splitting them up. The water and the vegetable oil are pretty evenly split. It calls for 1 cup of water. If you're splitting it, half a cup of oil. Splitting it is 1/4 cup. Now this again is a difference between Super Moist and Duncan Hines. I was usually using Duncan Hines, but Super Moist had a digital coupon, so I got that. It calls for 3 egg whites or 3 whole eggs. Now, if you're using Duncan Hines, on the back you'll see, I think, either 3 whole eggs or 2, I forgot what it was, or 4 egg whites. And I usually split it to 2 egg whites. So right here is an uneven number of eggs, so I'm going to go ahead and do 2 egg whites. I don't think it's going to hurt it too much, especially because this bag is bigger than the Duncan Hines one. So I'm going to do 2 egg whites. So let me get my bowl ready, or actually, yeah, because we want to split this up. Okay, so I'm just going to start pouring some in. I'm just guesstimating right now, and when you think you have enough in, okay, so this is what I've guesstimated is 8 1/4 ounces, 8 ounces and 1/4, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and reweigh what's left in the bag to make sure it's as close as you can get it. So let's weigh this. And that's 10 ounces. So I'm going to put a little bit more in my bowl. And I cut the entire opening just in case I have to put some back. Okay, it's exactly 8 1/4 ounces. So we're good now. I can turn off my scale and move this. And this is going to go back in the box, so I'm just going to like close it like that. And then I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. You could either just dump this into the Ziploc bag. I usually just like to put the entire bag in there. And then I'll put it back in the box. And I'll even go so far as to tape this shut just to secure what's remaining in there. But what I'll do, I always have a Sharpie in the kitchen. So when I put this back on the shelf, I'll put it where it tells me what it is. So I'm just going to write half. So that when I look at it, that tells me only half a pack is in there. And that's what I need for the next time. And I'll be using an 8x8. So that's going to make 2 even 8x8 cakes. So that's how I split it. So next time I want to make a cake, I have more mix for it already. I don't have to buy another one, or if you make it from scratch, whatever you do. So next time I just might make another white cake with some homemade chocolate frosting. So that's all I do to split up my cake mix, and that's my cake mix hack. So I'm going to go ahead and get my 2 egg whites, my 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and a 1/2 cup of water. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and make this cake. I won't record me with all the mixings because obviously you already know how to make it. But yeah, so that's all I do. It's not going to come out like a over the top fluffy cake. It's gonna, I don't know, it's not gonna be like super thick. It's not gonna be super thin either. It's kind of in between, which is fine because it's gonna be covered in whipped topping anyway. So, all right. So I'm gonna get this in the go ahead and get this done so I can get it in the oven. I'm gonna wash some dishes, and then I might get a little snack to eat because we really haven't eaten today, and I'm kind of hungry. So, but I want to get this cake done. So stay tuned. Okay, so I've got my cake mix in here. I just wanted to show you the level it's going to be. It's probably just less than half of the level of this pan. So when it's done, it'll probably be about right here. Oops, sorry. So I'll show you when it's done how high it's going to be. And again, this is an 8x8. And I have a glass 8x8, but the reason I use this metal one or stainless steel is because it has a lid. So being a Jello cake with whipped topping on it and Jello in it, it has to be refrigerated. So I can just put this on there and not worry about having to not stack anything on top of it. So if I needed to, I could still stack something on top of it in the refrigerator. So that's why I use the stainless steel one. All right, everyone, so the cake is done, and I think you can see how high up the pan it is when it's done. Looks about halfway. A little more, in some areas it's a little more fluffy, but I baked it at 350 for 20 minutes, and it's done. So yeah, that's how it looks, and I'll let it cool off before I start poking holes and pouring the Jello into it. Okay, everyone, so I am ready to get the Jello in this so I can get it in the refrigerator and it'll be ready for tonight's dessert. So I'm not going to put the Cool Whip on it right now. I'm just going to poke holes, get the Jello in it. But before I even make the Jello, I'm going to poke holes, otherwise it will start to set. So I like to use the end of one of these wooden spoons. The hole would be nice and big for that Jello to just seep through. So I've done this before, so I just poke holes just like that. All right, so now I'm going to make the Jello, and guess what? Just like the cake mix where I split it in half, it's the same thing I do with the Jello pack. This is the little 3-ounce box. And I already have one open because I already used it on another Jello poke cake some time ago. So I have the other half right here. I do it just like I do the cake mix. I just split this in half. But when you're making a Jello poke cake, you don't want to follow the directions on the box because then it's just going to be wet. So now if you were using the whole box, you would obviously double the amount of water I'll be using, hot and cold. So I'm just using a half a pack because I only have half a pack of cake mix. So this is strawberry. You can use whatever flavor you want. And now I've used all of that box. Okay, so when you're just using half of a 3-ounce box, you want to use a half a cup of hot water. And then, of course, whisk that in until all the powder is mixed in really well. And this measurement works really well with half a box of Jello going into the Jello poke cake. Okay, and then you want to use a 1/4 cup of cold water. So again, if you were using the entire box, 3-ounce box, with the entire cake mix, you would use 1 cup of hot water and a half a cup of cold water for this. So yeah, you don't want to follow the directions for the Jello. Okay, so now we're basically ready to pour it in. And you can just tip this and pour it all over. Okay, so I just poured the Jello into this plastic measuring cup, and I'm going to try to get as much in the holes. And some is going to fall on the sides. And you can just pour it like that. You'll get your Jello in the holes that way too. And there's just a little bit, but that could be a difference. That little bit left could make a difference in whether you have a soggy Jello poke cake or one that may be just right. So it looks like I have a good amount in my holes there. So I think I'm going to stop there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cover this and put it in the refrigerator. And then I've got my water boiling for my brats, so I'm going to start boiling my brats. I like to boil them to a cook first and then just brown them on the grill. All right, everyone. So here are my brats. I'll eat the brats. Glenn's gonna eat the Spencer steaks, and I forgot to record him before he started eating them. So yeah, let's move on to the friend mail.